A Saturday afternoon in Khayelitsha, outside Cape Town. Children play in the streets. But in an instant, joy turns to terror as 4 gunmen open fire on a local barbershop.
Mommy just come out calling, Enzo, Enzo, Enzo. When she came here, I noticed that now, man, there's the blood, the whole body of Enzo.
In a township of more than 2 million people, the daily grind has taken a sinister turn, where gangs unleash appalling violence on people unwilling or unable to pay for their protection, where a courageous few risk their lives, standing up to the intimidation and threats.
This area here, this is where most of the gangs reside.
Monde Bambelo, chairperson of the Khayelitsha Community Policing Forum, is taking us on a tour of a different kind.
So upstairs on my right, there's a massacre of 9 people here. And even back then, it has always been extortion related.
Mass shootings linked to extortion have become a regular occurrence in this area.
Now we are here by 𝗃𝗃𝗃, where the other massacre happened, where 6 people were gunned down. From subs, from the community, everyone agrees that all these crimes that are happening, all these mass shootings are all linked or related to extortion.
Rival gangs fight for control of areas, demanding protection fees from formal and informal businesses. Pay up and your business will be protected. Refuse and face the consequences.
They find a common ground these days and they team up together to make money. The incident happened in this street. 5 guys gunned down, they all died.
Is it unsafe to stop here?
Yep. We're not safe even in this car. They just pull up next to you. People get out of the car and start shooting at you. It's not just about outsiders anymore. No one is safe.
In recent years, extortion rackets have exploded into every sector of business in Khayelitsha. Even street vendors, like these, are being forced to pay protection fees. Somalian-owned businesses were historically the target of extortion gangs. But in recent years, that's changed, expanding to locals too.
Particularly after COVID-19, it was very lucrative and it then spread to local businesses.
𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃 is a senior analyst at the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime. And she believes township extortion isn't getting enough attention.
So you see people that have been involved in armed robberies, cash and transit heists, moving into the extortion economy. 1, because it's a lucrative economy, but 2, because it's a lower risk economy. Every time you go out and commit a cash and transit heist, you know you're going up against armed security and it's quite a dangerous job to do. When you're extorting someone, you just need to have a gun and the person you're extorting is unlikely to be armed.
Mass shootings have become commonplace here in Khayelitsha. In 2022, an alleged extortion kingpin known as 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 was arrested and accused of using violence to extort informal businesses. The arrest of Yanga Nyalara, known as 𝗃𝗃𝗃, was seen as a breakthrough in combating the wave of mass shootings in Khayelitsha. He faces 12 counts of murder allegedly linked to extortion. This week, his trial along with 1 co-accused started in a prison court because of security risks. Both men pleaded not guilty. 2 witnesses in the case have already been murdered. Some in the community have rallied behind 𝗃𝗃𝗃 because he allegedly targeted foreign-owned businesses and not South Africans.
Others want to do extortion to almost everyone. Others are saying no, they can do protection fee only to foreign nationals. And that on its own creates a conflict amongst themselves. where hence you find sometimes even the community will rally behind the likes of Bara, because Bara from time to time were to say our people from where we stay shouldn't be robbed.
Just a few weeks ago, this barbershop in Site C was targeted. A man and 3 children were shot dead. The youngest, 4-year-old Enzokuhle Dladlu.
As it always, they are just playing here.
Oh, the kids play here, like on the main road?
Yeah. And then the shooting was happening here. After 20 bullets,
What did that sound like?
It was not stopping, it just continuing.
Enzokuhle was not even at the barbershop. She was playing in the street outside, less than 100 meters from her home. Her grandmother Sheila lives with Enzo's mother, who was too devastated to talk to us.
Every night I just wake up at 2 o'clock thinking about it. And
Your daughter's crying again. Oh, Mama. It's still fresh. Enzokuhle was her only child. The family hasn't received any counseling from social services. In the aftermath, the police picked up 28 cartridges and 3 bullets. And while the motive remains unclear for now, the NPA haven't ruled out adding extortion charges in the case against 2 men they've arrested. They appeared in the Khayelitsha Magistrates Court earlier this month for a bail application. The media wasn't allowed to film their faces because there are still ID parades to be done. They're facing a range of charges, including 4 counts of murder, 11 of attempted murder, and the illegal possession of firearms.
If the accused is in custody, it will create a feeling of safety and more witnesses may be identified.
But small businesses aren't the only targets. Astonishingly, the extortion scourge has even spread to churches. A local pastor who agreed to talk to us as long as we didn't show his face says his church has been targeted several times.
Church, before it was a safe place, but not these days. They can just come in and then take all your bed and everything, take it out and then go to sell. Besides that, they can come tonight, taking everything in your church.
How often do they come in a month?
It depends because there's a lot of churches here in Khayelitsha. It's happening every day, my brother.
Churches have always been a little bit of a ground that nobody really wants to touch. But I think we're seeing the ruthlessness of the kind of gangs that are developing in the areas where nothing is sacrosanct.
Are these the same gangs that are extorting people?
Some of them would be, but you would find some of the smaller gangs that operate with the blessing of some of the bigger gangs that would be involved in those sorts of activities.
But it's not as formalized as the extortion that's happening in the city center where they're giving out invoices, right?
It's not as sophisticated. So what you see in the city center is very classic kind of protection racketeering that you see in other places in the world, where businesses are being told, pay us, we will provide the security and the doorman for your businesses. And if you refuse to employ their security company, then you will face the consequences. In Khayelitsha, that service isn't even being provided. You just pay for them to actually protect you, and you're actually protecting yourself against them.
I've had a saloon where they say they pay 150, others they pay 300 rand, others they pay up to 1,000 rand.
Monde is fighting back and is even prepared to face down the extortionists to help reclaim his community.
If I can convince one of them to understand the type of life they are putting us through, at least there's a victory in there. We have this problem, but let us talk. How do we get out of it?
And the consequences of not getting out of it are borne by people like these seemingly carefree children, living in a place where the innocent are often caught in the crossfire.
We raised a child and then we don't know what is going to happen because we were so traumatized. Maybe it's the end of the world.